Hello world, and welcome back to another exciting episode of the Advanced Wars by Web Grand Strategy Cast. Today's episode will be covering Day 31 of my Asia Grand Strategy campaign. So let's get to it. But first, a Wars World news update covering everything that's happened since the last episode. So immediately after me was, of course, Cobalt Ice, who has been spending the last many turns attempting to retake his peninsula, which you see him doing here. So his battleship fired on a rocket. Not sure that was the best idea. I think maybe he should have tried to clear that infantry from his HQ. But otherwise it looks like he's making progress on slowly taking down that black boat. He's recaptured that infantry. Blue Moon uses his battleship to once engage the rocket, although it is only down to 7 health at this point, and that rocket will repair back up to 8 in order to fire back next turn. Blue continues to consolidate the line with me. You see he's got 4 mechs in a row. He just built a 5th mech. He's starting to build up mechs all around his line, which could either be a defensive tactic or maybe in preparation for an attack. Fire Red, of course, fights back. And not only is he able to start to get a capture on the property, but it is down to 9 points at this point. And he was able to join cap, or really cap join, so now that unit is back up to 10 health. So if this infantry does not get taken out, Cobalt Ice is going to be out of the game. And I did the calculations. This is going to repair back up to 9 health. This is a 7 health battleship. Even if both of them fired on this infantry, they would only bring it down to 1 health. And so that's pretty low, but it's not gone. So this infantry will be able to capture, bringing this point down to 8 health. And you see here, with another full health infantry dropped off by that lander, he will be able to cap join this unit once again. So that'll take us to this turn. Now, I did at some point have an idea with Cobalt Ice that I would capture one of his ports and build a battleship in order to try to save him. And he finally gave me confirmation last turn. He finally messaged me and told me that he was okay with the plan. So we have to do this in hopes that he's not luring me into a trap and that I actually have an opportunity to get this port. Once I build a battleship here, I mean, sure, that will most certainly help me fight off Red, and I will help him fight off Red, but it just will be very nice to have a port and a battleship on this part of the map. I really will have ports on either side of Blue Moon's properties, and that will give me a ton of leverage over him. In the north here, let's continue on with this infantry, and we'll just keep moving that north. You stay here for now, heal up for 1 more turn. You can hop into here. Unload your mech there. I was able to get a full turn of all kinds of repairs going on here, so that most certainly works out in my favor. Move this rocket and secure our northern territory just a little further, just like that. I do think we're getting to the point where we can actually join this infantry. Having a mech on this mountain here will be very nice. It's just a little reassurance that if anything does get through my lines, I at least have a mech parked right here on this 4-star cover ready to hold the line. A Lash mech on mountain cover is not something that anybody should really want to mess with. Okay, you get the fuel you need right there. And as I get closer and closer to the unit cap, I am really going to have to begin combining more and more units before finally upgrading them to better versions. So I will need to replace some of my infantry with mechs along the line, just because I can afford to do it, and why not. I also need to start replacing some of these tanks with heavier tanks. First medium tanks, but then maybe even a Neo tank. And mega tanks are indeed enabled, so perhaps we could even see a mega tank holding the line right here down the middle. Although my northern flank is not nearly as well defended as my eastern flank, I also feel that Cobalt is a little bit less of a threat, so I'm fairly comfortable with what I have now. It's not necessarily enough to beat back any attack, but it is enough to essentially make Cobalt really regret any bad decisions he might make. Well, I do indeed feel very good about all these tanks repaired back up to 10. I have no more injured tanks besides this one, which is currently repairing on this city, virtually untouchable. And this one back here, which is actually in a pretty good strategic location, because it can redeploy either north or east, or even to the south. And with not one but two Drakes getting fairly close to their Typhoons, I really do, again, need to be considering my repair situation. That's not something I can ever really escape in this game, and especially not with this territory. Now let's continue to move our infantry into position, so I can better secure this river flank as well. You finally get your heals up now. So Blue Moon did previously offer me his northernmost port, which is this port here, to use for my ships instead of keeping my battleship stationed down here. Now I did take him up on that offer, but I don't know if he's actually going to follow through with it. But we shall see. I want to do something kind of devious. Cobalt Ice has already offered me this port. So I'm hoping maybe if I can try to capture this port as well, both of these ports on the same turn with a 10 health infantry. They might not even notice or something, and then I can actually get both of them, one port from each of them. So we'll move and we'll join this infantry here, and I hope he understands what's going on here. Let's hope he honors that agreement. But we'll see. If I continue to move my ship out to sea, he might just let me. And let's deploy you out there, just so we have a little more coverage in the center here. Now that you're healed, let's develop you just a little further. And we will just wait all on down the line with all of you. Yes, and finally we can get this rocket into position. And look at that. This gives me excellent coverage, and it doesn't actually cover any of Blue Moon's factories, which was part of the agreement we worked out. But I do think this rocket here would do a powerful job of dissuading Blue Moon from trying anything at this point. So let's get this convoy moving, and I will scout ahead with my cruiser. I'm really surprised he did not have any ships there. So I do think a second black boat will be important for my fleet, again, with not one but two Typhoons coming up fairly soon. I'm going to need to actually be able to repair all that damage. And the only way to do that without a port is going to be with black boats. So that should more or less be all my orders. Now to figure out what we are going to build this turn. And as we're so close to the unit cap here, we really will need to start joining units together. Like so. You continue to fill in the line. Alright. So I think that is going to do it for me, and I will end my turn. So that's going to do it for day 31. Thank you so much for joining us again. If you're a returning subscriber, thank you so much for coming back once again. If you're a first-time viewer, well, I hope you liked it. And if you did, maybe just consider subscribing so you can catch a little bit more there. Maybe even hit that like button or even leave a comment. So thank you so much for joining us, and I'll see you in the next one.